Ready to roll.
This is LTV.
Inside Leominster is brought to you in part through the generous support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisinsuranceagency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success. EnterpriseBanking.com.
Hi, welcome to Sholan Farm.
Yeah, we'll have an apple. Wow, look at these apples. You got all kinds of different apples. Are we on?
Yep, we're on.
Oh, well, there's no TV monitor. Oh, here I am. I'm checking my phone, looking at the apples. There we are. Well, welcome. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the City of Leominster, and we're live here at Inside Leominster. We've been doing the show for just about 30 years. And wow, how things can change in just seconds. Anyway, we'll give you a complete update. And first, just a big thanks to everybody for your patience. There's nothing easy about your home or your business getting flooded out. There's nothing worse, right? Tree comes down, you can cut the tree up and get rid of it. In fact, you can even use the wood to burn and heat, or maybe use it for fires in your yard, during summer months or camping. But water damage is just ruins everything. And so we fully understand that. And for businesses that had 4 to 8 feet of water in their basements, unthinkable. But we'll give you a full report later on in the show. And I don't know if Art's there. I don't see any blinking lights. But what's that?
We didn't get a call.
Okay. What I will tell you is that there is, on a positive note here, a concert at Carter Park tonight. So if you'd like to stop down, 7 o'clock. It's dried out down there. We actually had a nice day today. A little less humidity. And when you look at the humidity levels, 95% humidity, dew point factor at, 80-something%. Hot is hot. But then when you add, humidity to it, and the dampness, it makes everything different. So hot is hot, but boy, this humidity. And we got a little break of it today, and each day is supposed to get a little better. If you have any questions at all, we have some guests today. And if you have any questions at all, 534-1626. That's the phone number to call. We have phone numbers. Get your little pad and pencil ready. We have numbers to share with you here today, phone numbers, etc. And we're going to take a short break. Art doesn't seem to be on today, so we're going to take a short break. And so now your basement flooded. Maybe the emergency management, or you got it pumped out. And then maybe the last bits of it, you took those, shop vacs and you vacuum up the last pieces of it. And now you still see water, areas of water. And you're wondering, what do I do with that? I have boxes in my house. I still have things. There's water. Everything's waterlogged. Things are ruined. How do I get rid of it? And what do I do next? Because now, I've got this smelly dampness in my house now, or my business. And what do I do? Well, we're going to have a guest on that's coming up next after the break, and we're going to share some thoughts with you about some of the things you can do to remedy that. We'll be right back here.
Hi, welcome to Sholan Farm. My name is Joanne Dinardo. I've been volunteering here for 22 years, or 23. This is our 23rd season. So actually our third weekend that we've been open. We're open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. in the morning until 5 o'clock at night. This weekend's going to be fantastic. The Honey Crisp are already in. The Red Cortlands are in. Caramel apples this weekend. We have cider. So the farm stand is stocked with all sorts of good stuff, especially apples. We also grow our own produce now, so we have tomatoes and cucumbers and squash. Anything that anybody wants that we grow is right here on the premises. So this is our farm stand. This is the heartbeat of the farm during the apple picking season. People come into the farm and they buy their bag, and then we tell them where they can go picking. And then we have a group of volunteers that make up the apple crisp mix, which has been acclaimed to be the best apple crisp mix there is. So we've tried all other ones and none of them come close, and our volunteers make this at a certified kitchen. Come and bring the whole family. Sholan Farms, you can check us out on our Facebook page. You can check us out on our webpage, which is sholanfarms.com, or you can call the farm for more information at 978-840-3276. Remember, this is the people's farm. We saved it, and we have an obligation to keep it running. So we're always looking for new volunteers, and I certainly hope that you will not be afraid to come up. The season is short, so hopefully you'll be able to get here before the end of October. Thank you.
All right, we're back here, and she's right. 23 years at Sholan Farms. Look at this. Look at these apples.
Good afternoon.
When were these picked
Thank you to
today?
the village for hosting us. I am Natalie Higgins. I'm the state representative.
We got 2 shows going on around here. But look at these apples, how beautiful they are. Right from our own farm at Sholan. And look at that, huh? Nice red color. Oh, man, I can't wait. Thank you for getting these for me. They must have did it while they were up there. All right. Anyway, we're back. We're live. 978-534-1626. Let's go right to the phones and see who's there. Caller, welcome to the show.
George McNamara.
Hi, George.
Listen, I want to thank you, the whole city, everybody, and the people of Leominster for doing everything they're doing. The Spanish American Center is giving away food, I heard today. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. I bought a condo years ago, 86, Fallbrook. And everybody said, how come you don't have any basements? Now I realize I'm thankful I didn't have one. I'm not making a joke of it. But, yeah. But good job, Mayor.
George, good to hear from you. How you feeling?
Yeah, Mets are Mets.
All right. Well, you know, my father's doctor used to say, when you have a good day, you celebrate the heck out of it, right?
Well, that's today. We might go to the movies tonight.
Oh, wow. It's date night Thursday.
Yeah, that's what I used to do in the old days with Carol. Right, exactly.
Put your arm around her, maybe a little peck on the cheek here and there.
And grab the popcorn.
There you go. Ambidextrous. Well, what movie are you going to see?
We might go see, it's still playing with, what the hell is the name of it? It's about the alien that crashes with Ben Kingsley.
Oh, yeah, that sounds interesting. Let me know how it is. I'll let you go and pay. You let me know how it is.
I will, man.
Right.
You're doing a great job. I don't know where you get your energy from.
Great
We're
team.
having work done up here at Fallbrook. I'm going to let you go. But we had the state come in here and clear out Fallbrook for 2 days. We didn't have to pay for it. The management company arranged it with the state mosquito control, and they were here for 2 days cleaning up the brook. Anyway, man, God bless you and everybody in the city.
That's what we do. We're team effort, right? We're storm crushers.
Leominster strong. God bless you, man.
All right. Take care. All right. Anyway, Mike McCarthy's here with me. He's the franchise owner in this territory here and of ServePro. And you've probably seen the trucks in and around the city and with hoses coming out of them all over the place. And when you know, in a lot of cases, there's you know, everyday work for them to do. But then when the storms hit, they are ready to go. And out they went, and you were all over. You did work at the schools. You were everywhere.
Everywhere, all over the city and all over the surrounding area.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Couple things. I mean, so today we're going to talk about, well, obviously, we pumped and pumped and pumped. There was so much water in variable amounts depending on where you were.
More than we've ever seen.
Yeah. So sometimes people think, I go down to my basement, lights are on, must be safe. I mean, if it wasn't, there'd be no lights on. But the reality is, you don't know if there are plugs that are live.
Absolutely.
And you don't want to be the test barometer, do you?
You do not. And that's the main thing with any of this. We all want to protect our homes. We all want to protect our businesses, but we have to protect ourselves first and foremost.
Right.
Safety of us and the ones you love are of the utmost importance. And so you don't want to take chances if you don't know.
But that normal reaction is to go downstairs and bring maybe even a vacuum with you, and there you are, electricity, holding something that's run by electricity, and you're standing in water. It's the perfect recipe for another disaster.
An absolute no-no, and just not worth the risk. Once the water hits, the damage is done, for the most part.
Right.
You try to avoid secondary damage.
Right. Some things you can grab.
Paintings on the wall that didn't get wet that you could bring upstairs and things of that nature. Photo albums on shelves that you could bring from the basement and up.
But maybe kill the power and then get battery operated lighting down there and maybe a flashlight or your light from your phone.
Absolutely.
And work that way. 978-534-1626 if you have any questions. So now, Monday night came and then we got the pumps out. Same thing. Mud suckers, small pumps, medium-sized pumps, large pumps. And a lot of people on their own just call the companies they do business with.
Absolutely.
And there's just pumps going on all over the place. In my own business, we pumped for 2.5 days. They had so much water. And then the water goes away, and you maybe bring a dehumidifier down because it's that musty, there's something not finished. The concrete is still a little bit wet. You vacuum it with the wet vac. And then, maybe you get a dehumidifier if you can find one and put it down there. But what else should we? Now you've got water that's touched walls, it's touched furniture. What do you do now?
It's not easy, and to each their own. It's your home.
Yep.
You do with what you want, or your business, and you treat it how you feel is the most prudent. But anything that's porous, sheetrock, that absorbs that water. Really needs to be cut and disposed of in the proper manner and tested for asbestos before getting into it, and so that you're not causing more damage or creating more of a problem than you already have.
All right, now, but I just bought my house, or I've been in my house, and I'm on a fixed income, and
absolutely,
Social Security. I don't have a whole lot of money to start doing that. In fact, then I try to call somebody, try to get somebody to do it. It's hard enough to get anybody to do anything, let alone come in and cut the sheetrock out and the molding.
Absolutely.
Or is there something else? Can I get a bottle of, bleach and spray it on? Is there something I could do to slow the process?
Again, there are, your Home Depots, your Lowe's, your local True Values, Ace, Aubuchon Hardwares. They all have products that you can spray on to deal with mold or mildew or treat different areas that were affected with this. But at the end of the day, at some point in time,
it's coming out.
It probably has to come out.
The next owner. And then there are obviously health risks to having mold growing in your house. And so, round and around and around you go.
You're chasing your tail at that point.
But I realize it. So now a dehumidifier is going to take now, especially in the basement, you'll usually only have, some people have any windows or a bulkhead. So you want to open up those bulkheads. You want to open up the windows, get some fans going.
Mother Nature, on most days, is a great deodorizer. She does phenomenal.
That's why we hang our clothes out, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. But you also have to deal with, as you mentioned, relative humidity outside.
Right.
So if it's really humid outside or raining, like this weekend, you may not want your doors and windows open while it's raining or while it's that humid outside.
Today wasn't bad.
Today was great. Great day to open the doors.
We opened our doors and had fans going and everything,
Absolutely.
and it really helped.
Absolutely.
Now, sometimes we notice this time people will finish. We've talked about this on the show. People will they'll finish off their basements.
Yes.
And not always, pull a permit for it, but maybe the person that lived there before did it.
Right.
And we always recommend these check valves in the toilet. In fact, we actually recommend the valve that you can actually shut it off, because the check valve, something could get caught in there.
Absolutely.
And then as soon as something hits it, that's where it's coming. So for a lot of people, they called and they had sewage coming up in their bathrooms, in the basement.
Absolutely.
Washing machines.
Yes.
The point of least resistance, it's just coming out. Now you've got this real mess. Now, that has to be cleaned up. And then how do you deal with that after? Okay, so say you get it cleaned up, and then what? I mean, is that a bleach thing? I mean, you can't rip up the concrete.
Again, no, you can't rip up the concrete, but drying it appropriately is step number one, for sure. Dehumidifiers, fans, Mother Nature, air movement, something of the kind.
So maybe sometimes if you got a bulkhead, a fan, some cross, right? You want to blow, pull air in and then blow it
exhaust
out,
it
right?
out.
So that constant flow of air.
You got it. And some basements you can't do that.
Right.
Some basements don't have that type of access.
Right.
So every case, we call them snowflakes. Everyone's different.
Yep.
Every situation is unique. The amount of water, the type of water, as you said, sewage coming up is something that really I couldn't stress enough with the contaminants in.
It should be handled professionally.
It should be, and if it can't, maybe they could still come out, and we would still come out and advise you as to what to do, because you don't have the money to pay. But at least you'd have a better understanding of what we would do and our scope of work, of what we would do if we were going to perform that task.
Mike McCarthy is the franchise owner of ServePro, and we're just talking about, okay, what next? And so we pumped over 100, and I don't even know how many basements that we know of. A lot of people went down and got their own. Like I did my own. Our people that work for us in our business went down. We got our own vacuums. We kind of took care of ourselves.
Correct.
We didn't call on anybody. So that's probably who knows how many. And then so we're in the cleanup mode now. So then we went to the vacuums, and then then we did the dehumidifiers and the fans, and now it's sitting there. You think you got all those things. Now it's the time, like, okay, what am I going to get rid of?
Correct.
What are the things like paper boxes that holds all that moisture?
No
so
doubt.
if it was sitting in the water, whatever was sitting in the water, that's holding the moisture. Blankets, sleeping bags.
Absolutely.
Those are really either get them in the washer right away, or you're really going to have to get rid of them. Boxes, cardboard, it's got to go.
Right.
You might have had rock salt or food products.
Contaminants, food products are something that a lot of people don't think about often. Even canned goods, especially as you mentioned with the sewage backup. Even canned goods. I wouldn't rinse a canned good and feel you're okay with it. Those need to be disposed of. Any food product that's down in that environment, not even hit, you can't take the risk with the amount of contaminants in the air. All that has to be disposed of. Washing a shirt, as you say, that's up to you. But the food and the consumption of food by you or loved ones, don't risk it.
People have blankets and tents, and everything seems to go down. When we don't need things, so we don't need to change the season. It goes down.
Luckily, hopefully in plastic bins, which you could just replace the plastic bins or clean the plastic bins. But anything porous, especially as you mentioned with sewage, needs to be thrown away.
Especially with
carpets, carpets, clothing, all of that. It just really has to go.
Well, obviously, Mike runs a private business, and obviously you can find him. This is his territory around here. So if you'd like to call him, as he said, he'll come out and just, walk through with you.
Love to help.
And, discuss things with you. He's not going to pull the wool over your eyes. He's going to tell you exactly what he thinks, give you a few options.
Right.
And off you go, right? What else can you tell us about ServePro? I mean, it's a local business.
We're a local franchise, but a national business. So when something like this happens in our area, it's not just my franchise doing the work.
Bring them all in.
So all of New England is working tirelessly to help the people of Leominster and across the country.
How many people do you have out here right now in this area?
For us, it's hundreds of franchises are here to help.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
really?
Oh, absolutely.
That
absolutely.
big,
Yeah. And with a coastal storm coming in, they're here for Boston and
you're bringing them
in that area in case it gets hit, or the Cape or what have you with this next storm. But yeah, whenever this happens across the country,
gear up.
if you can, we mobilize to serve the people. And that's what we try to do. Because we could never, as a local franchise, keep up with the volume of this business. We would normally take in, a handful of calls a day.
Yeah.
5 to 10 jobs a day.
And then some of them are maintenance.
Routine.
And some of them are maintenance.
Correct.
Yeah.
Could you please come clean my Oriental carpet?
Right.
But then in times like this, we're in the multi-hundreds of calls a day. So our franchise is not equipped to handle everyone's issue immediately when they want it. I need someone here right away.
Right.
Just impossible to do with the amount of staff that any individual franchise has. But as a collective unit, not only ourselves, but all of our competitors as well have done the same thing. So we're here to help, we're here to assist, and whoever it is that you choose to use, those are the people you should be calling, asking the questions, and hopefully they can assist.
Now, one of the things that's happening is people, like anything else, I don't know, I have house insurance, I have umbrella insurance, liability, workman's comp. I don't know. Do people sit down and read these things? Not for the most part.
No.
Until you have a claim. And then the first thing you do is pick up the phone and call your insurance company and say, hey, by the way.
Do I have coverage
do I have
for this?
coverage? Do you run into, most of the time what we're hearing now is people don't have flood insurance.
Correct.
Why would we?
Correct.
And are you finding people have insurance?
There are limited policies throughout the Commonwealth that would provide usually limited coverage up to a certain limit of coverage for this. But that is not the norm.
Right.
It's 90%
the other way.
That don't have coverage for an event like this. And I throw 90% out. It could be 80.
It seems like 90%.
It seems like 90.
It seems like occasionally you find somebody that looks like they have insurance.
And that's one of the big issues that people think they should have coverage for it, and us being in the business knowing that most do not. That's a big blow to a homeowner or business owners. What do you mean I may not have coverage for this? So we're not insurance agents, we're not insurance adjusters, we're none of that. So we don't really know the answer.
Right.
Your insurance agent and the company will give you that answer.
Right.
We just provide the feedback for what we see on a day in and day out basis.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
I know you're busy to run around, but we appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you so much for all you're doing for the city of Leominster.
Sure, we great team effort, and I'll tell you. And this is, I hope, helpful for people that might be at home. And I just know, the majority of people that have called us aren't people that can, that have the financial resources.
Correct.
And are finding out they don't have insurance. So it's like, what do you do? Well, the Red Cross left some buckets off down at Emergency Management on Carter Street with bleach. And minimum is you can get out there, and the bucket might be to carry things upstairs slowly. And then I'll tell you how to get rid of some of them in a minute. And then the bleach might be to either spray around. At least that's doing something until maybe you get to that point where you're ready to call in a professional.
Absolutely.
And they'll go from there. Thank you very much. Well, let's take that call. Caller, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dino.
What's going on down there at Hannaford?
Not much.
Did you guys get flooded at all? No?
No, we didn't, but Marie's taking care of her cousin right now.
Oh. Well, that's nice of her to do that, right?
Yeah, she's a very nice lady. You guys like her.
Oh, good. Well, I hope work's going well for you.
Yeah, and I talked to Kat, wanted to know how Hannaford's help.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they want to help out too, Hannaford.
Well, everybody can help. Believe me, there's going to be plenty of room and plenty of time, plenty of occasions to help out. So we'll probably stop down and see Mark.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll be there for it.
All right.
I'll talk to you later, buddy.
All right, take care. 978-534-1626. We're going to take a short break. We have lots to talk about. These are Sholan apples. Now, remember, this was a tough season, right? This is a tough season, and we didn't get anything with the pit. So we got no nectarines, no peaches, nothing with the pit. And I was worried that this was going to affect apples. Look at this thing. Just absolutely beautiful. Was these picked today? Did you go up there today to do the filming? They're beautiful apples. And look at that. I can't wait. Oh, they're nice and cold. So you must have had them in somewhere in a refrigerator or something, because nice and cold. All right, you ready back there? Because we're going to take a short break. All right, thumbs up. Here we go. We'll be right back.
I'll leave it to you. Is that all right?
Yep.
Good afternoon. Thank you to the village for hosting us. I am Natalie Higgins. I'm the state representative from Leominster, and I'm joined with Meg Kilcoyne.
Hello, everybody. My name is Meg Kilcoyne. I'm the state representative from the 12th Worcester District, just north of here, 6 communities.
And we're going to be joined by some other friends from the North Central delegation throughout this afternoon. And I am just so thrilled to be down here in Worcester with all of you. We have been fighting to save the Leominster Hospital Birthing Center since Memorial Day weekend, when we got the news that UMass Memorial Healthcare intended to close our birthing center. And I am so proud of the coalition we've built and so thankful for the support of this Worcester delegation to back up that this isn't just a Leominster issue, this isn't just a North Central Mass issue, that this is an issue that impacts the entire Commonwealth. We are all in this together. This isn't just about North Central Mass, but this is about a maternal health care crisis across the Commonwealth and making sure that we're stepping up and protecting birthing families and making sure that they have access to care in communities and can actually get there. We have to keep this unit open. We need to make it better. We need to make sure that it's meeting all of the needs of the North Central community. There are 1,800 births in the region, and Leominster Hospital provides the services for the vast majority of those births. So we need to continue to grow that. We can fix this, right? Like, we don't have a staffing trouble and shut down a service. You figure that out. It is a solvable problem. And we're here ready to solve it. We're here today because UMass Memorial.
All right, just about a half hour left here at Inside Leominster, 978-534-1626, and they're right. We have gotten so much support, and I'll tell you, you may live in another part of the state, and if you live in Marlborough, and if you live in Newburyport, or you live in Somerville, and you see some of these places, you remember you once had a full-service community hospital servicing the whole area. And when we went through the merger with Fitchburg and Leominster, that wasn't easy. Everybody knows how tough it is to, when you're doing something that we bleed blue and they bleed red, and the game, and just this whole rivalry. And here they are in the central part of their community. A huge portion of it is what? Their hospital, Burbank Hospital, for years, served the needs of not only them, but, Townsend and Ashburnham and Ashby and that whole area around there. And then suddenly, they're told by people who believed it. I think the board of directors in both communities thought, we can't survive alone. And I think at the grassroots level, they probably were right at the time. They couldn't keep 2 ERs going, couldn't keep 2 full-fledged hospitals going. And had to make that merger, right, and create the Health Alliance, Fitchburg campus, Leominster campus, the Cancer Center, all of that, which I think they did a wonderful job. Then a few steps later came, and remember, it's not as important where the emergency room is. It's more important that we can get paramedics to you quicker. So if you live in Ashby, or you live in Ashburnham, or you live in Townsend, or that section of Fitchburg that has become rural. If you get up to Alpine Road and some of those, it's pretty rural up there, believe me. And then the thought was, well, we'll get you help, we'll get paramedics. Well, then that went away. So not only Fitchburg lost the emergency room, but then in the hospital, they lost paramedics that were promised to them by, Health Alliance at the time. And then we do this other phase, which is, we think we're better off with a bigger hospital, kind of the mother operation, and that will help us through all the changing needs of healthcare, the changing world of healthcare. So it comes down to Tenet, which is basically St. Vincent's. It's a private company, and then UMass, and UMass comes in and does these presentations that say, hey, you're losing. You're losing services here from the city, from these hospitals. We're going to bring them back, and we're going to make them even better. Now, many will say, well, the insurance industry has changed. Healthcare has changed. Do you know any industry at all? Continues to be my thing. Do you know any industries at all, anywhere, in any sector that the world hasn't changed on them. I mean, the world changed and it became difficult for us to hire plow drivers in the winter or mechanics at the DPW. Well, we didn't just like throw our hands up in the air and say, well, we're going to shut the DPW down. It's hard to, we used to be people waiting at the door in the line trying to get into the police department or the fire department. Not so much anymore, right? We got to recruit, and it doesn't mean we shut the place down because it's a little more difficult to recruit and hire and retain. So, now we're in the situation where like, it's the maternity ward. And now everybody's thinking, okay, maternity ward now, it was pediatrics before, it was cardiac rehab. Which branch are we going to cut off? And will there just be a STEM later, right? And that's why we're so aggressively, everyone working as a team is so aggressively pursuing all of this. All right, I have a guest. It's our new, not new to the police department, but Captain Ryan Malatos is just a month or so, maybe?
Roughly
2,
a month,
3.
yes.
I mean, it could be, who knows how time goes by so quickly. You never know what month, day, or year. But sometimes people say to me, you remember this happened? I said, yeah, that must have been 2 months ago. And they're like, no, 2 years ago.
Especially with the last couple of days, it's kind of a blur.
Just got a text from somebody. He said, do you remember this? And I said, oh, yeah, it was a couple years ago, 9 years ago. And I said, 9 years ago? How could I, that's the way it goes. But anyway, born in Leominster, patrol. What did you do before?
Born and raised in Leominster.
Yeah.
Went to Leominster High School.
Yeah.
After Leominster High School, I went to Westfield State. And after Westfield State, started taking police exams throughout the state. And it was one of those times where it was hard to find a job in law enforcement. So whatever you got, you almost just wanted to stick with it.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate with taking the civil service test in Leominster, and I was hired first in Leominster. That was my first full-time job in law enforcement.
Yeah.
In 2002, actually.
And you get the chance. That was the way it was for me is, I after Prop 2.5, they laid everybody off. Then all of a sudden, everybody got their budgets back together, and all of a sudden they were hiring.
Yeah.
So we went from not being able to get a job to getting a job. You get laid off, right? A lot of people get laid off.
A lot got laid off.
And then all of a sudden, went to my mailbox, and I remember I forget who it was in our family that went down, and there were all these cards stacked up. For at the time, it was MBTA. It was. What was the other one? It was the Metro Police. What were they? The MDC.
The MDC.
Gardner, Concord. They're all there. I'm like, wow. All of a sudden, I have all these options.
All at once.
And then I saw the Leominster one. I'm like, that's where I want to go. That's right. I want to be a cop of my own town.
Yeah, you have a sense of ownership where you came from.
Yeah, of course. I know the people. They know me. And, maybe I can help some people along the way, right?
I agree.
And so then you became lieutenant. So you started 2002?
2002 I started. Roughly 2007, I was fortunate enough to make sergeant. And then roughly 3 years ago, I made lieutenant. And in the last month, it was captain.
Yeah. So, wow, right? All the way up.
It flies by.
All through the...
Everyone says it flies by, but once you're in it, it really does.
That's what I just said. It's like, oh, yeah, it was a few years ago. No, it's 9 years ago. I'm like, oh, no, wow.
Yeah,
that's
it's true.
incredible.
Yeah, it's true.
And certainly things have changed since even I was a police officer, then you started. Everything, the world just kind of keeps changing really quick.
It's very different now.
And obviously, one of the things that happens as you make the ranks is things become more administrative. You get more responsibility. As I said, the world's changing, so there's more documentation for everything.
Yep.
There's more requirements. There's more standards and procedures, and on and on and on, and body cams, and just one of the things I'm going to hitch on, so you can play. Lieutenant Brady did a good job. I was listening to the tours that were taken at the, and what I found is most people are fascinated with Tony's haircut, which is actually a military section
military haircut.
Of the military,
yes,
a unit that he was in. And then the body cams.
The body cameras, yeah.
They were so fascinated by the body cams, and the technology that the body cams bring, and obviously I've seen the quality of the picture that comes from it. It's just
insanely clear.
Unbelievable. unbelievable. But
I believe it's 720p.
Yeah.
The officers overall, they love them.
It's amazing. And I know, first police department that I worked with in an arbitration case mediation was Methuen. And they were, and then some of them. And other ones were like, yeah, we'll do a test. And I said, listen, I'm not kidding you. I'm telling you. I guarantee this to you. This will become your best friend. You don't realize that this is going to show kind of, a 3D of what happened here. And at least it's another version, so we don't have to always rely on other people. Oh, this is what happened. Like, well, we don't have anything to come back on.
It's great because it kind of eliminates the he said, she said, an allegation. It allows us to follow up, and there's no discrepancy with the video, and the juries love it. Videos don't lie.
No.
They paint a great picture.
Let's talk about the technology to it, because, so first of all, the old days of, I'm sure you heard the stories of the firing range downstairs at the old police station.
The old school days, yeah.
It would be just smoke, no ventilation, and we'd get out, and that would be our firing range. Probably what's made us all the way we are. Is and then we get on and practice. Get a box, you just get on and practice. That's changed. And today, instead of firing ranges, so to speak, things are done virtually. And I assume that artificial intelligence could add another layer to that, where you actually put on the mask or you're in this environment where it's real. Like
it's real.
It's as real can be.
It allows you to be, with the virtual reality software, it allows the officers to be in an actual, for example, an active shooter situation. You are in it, and someone is on the other end with the remote control. So depending on how the officers give the commands, well, that depends on how the instructor proceeds with how there might be threats, whether it's good or bad threats, and it shows how the officers act under modified stress, so to speak. But it's very, very real.
Right. It's more real than being at a target range and you get the silhouette. You're throwing at the silhouette, trying to hit the head. Yeah, it's just
different kind of real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not that we don't do that anymore, because to qualify.
Twice a year we still do it. Right.
So we still do that. 978-534-1626, the number to call here. And Captain Malatos is here with me, and we're just talking about things in general. We'll get more in later into some of the storm issues, but officers are trained to carry stun guns, right?
Yep.
So we use sort of progressive.
Yep.
We don't just get to a call and then suddenly we mace somebody or something. So we try all the regular things. De-escalation, try to calm people down, calm the situation down. Then, when that doesn't work, there are many things and many tools that we have outside of getting physical with somebody.
Right.
And explain how if the officer, for some reason, has to reach for their taser. I don't have time. This is extreme. This is an emergency. I don't have time to call in by myself.
Yep.
I reach for my taser. I pull it out. What happens?
Well, there's many situations where, under the use of force, the officer doesn't have the option to de-escalate. And the officer, right away, he has to resort to a higher level of force. And as soon as that happens, it's fully documented. And let's say the taser goes off. Is that what you mean?
So the second you pull, whether you turn on your body camera or not, it goes on.
The taser's,
done.
Taser's activated. Camera goes off.
Camera goes off.
As long as they're in the correct mode.
It sends a signal to others.
It's fully documented,
Right.
And the body cameras in the surrounding areas, depending on what you do, there is a range with the other officers, their body cameras go off as well.
So automatically.
So it's an alert right away.
That's it. It's also going to alert officers who might be close by who didn't even know this was happening.
Within the area, so they're fully notified.
And they're going to know something's going wrong, didn't have a chance to call in. We've got to, somebody needs help.
Right.
Kind of the SOS. Same thing with service revolvers, all of that.
Yep. And there's also sensors that are on the holsters as well.
Right. So you pull out, you go to have to grab your gun, pull it out, sensor kicks it, sends a message. But the one thing is, everything is captured on the body cam.
Everything's captured. Most likely, with the body cameras, it's able to capture for most of the time 30 seconds before you activate it without the audio. And so that's good because you see what happened before you actually need it.
Right. And then then people are like, well, geez, what do you do with all this information later, right? Come back to the station, you're going to plug it in.
We have docking stations.
And everything just gets backed up.
And it gets stored, and it's automatically uploaded to the specific incident that the officers were on for that time.
Now, just switching gears over, and like I said, people are just fascinated by the technology. They're like, really? I'm like, oh, you haven't seen anything yet.
The tasers and the haircut was...
The haircut.
That was a hit.
Tony Edinburgh's haircut.
That was a hit.
They're like, Tony, come over here. They like a haircut.
Great guy, yeah.
But people were very impressed with the facility. We're very thankful for the facility.
We're very thankful as well.
We'll start moving in soon.
We can't wait.
Yeah,
the
it's
officers
exciting.
are beyond psyched. Beyond psyched.
And I think we talked a lot about at the open house, and you kind of bundled it by saying we can finally be proactive.
We can.
And we had to operate in a police station as times changed in situations that weren't great, but made it work. And obviously you're doing police work and you're trying to be proactive, but now the world has changed and now we have the tools to do the job and we have the facilities. And what goes on in the building and the image that we portray is extremely important, that we want to be there to help people with mental illness, to have the support and the training, the knowledge and experience to be able to get out in the community between civilians that we have on staff and the police department.
Exactly.
It's actually worked, you know?
The officers are so dedicated, and to give them the work environment, it's just going to be a huge morale boost. They're beyond psyched.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit, a couple minutes here, about sort of the you know, it's Monday and everything's fine and what the heck, every single day, it seems like every couple days, everybody's like, oh, I shouldn't have taken vacation, I should have waited till later. And then we actually have a heat wave through Labor Day.
Yep.
And everybody's thinking, man, what's going on? I mean, it's, you know, we're into September here and it's almost 100 degrees, hazy, hot and humid. And then we catch this day where just another thunderstorm's coming through and they pass by and the sun might come out and we see the stars and the, you know, a couple of rainbows, but that doesn't happen.
No.
And it increasingly gets worse and worse and worse. And then, you know, we're in crisis mode with no warning, except for, did you notice that as we were in the process, every half hour, that alarm would go off on your phone. It was eerie.
Yep.
Flash flood and flooding warnings. It would keep coming through like every half hour, and I'm like, wow, this is, and it's like one, but it kept coming. It's just because they saw that this front above us just wasn't moving. It just kept dumping water.
There was no let up to.
Yeah.
And when you and I spoke on the phone, it was going bad fast, and we had to do something about it.
Yeah, I was watching, I just stopped into my cafe just for a minute. I grabbed something to drink and I was talking to some of the people who work there and I could see the water piling up in front of the crew. And I said, oh, that's happened before. I'll just wait a couple minutes, it'll pass by and I'll take off to my next meeting. And it just kept coming. So then I checked my phone and you can watch the Weather Channel. You know, it'll show you for the next 3 hours what's going to happen. The front never moved.
Never moved.
It was just gold and yellow, just stuck there. And I shut off my phone, rebooted it, and it still stayed there. And I'm like, this is the first time I've ever seen something get over you and just stay there.
Yeah.
So then we started calling out the troops. We called in as many people as we could, declared it immediately. Once we started seeing cars floating, this is a state of emergency. People calling in saying these big sinkholes, cars, people were stuck. We're like, no,
everywhere.
This is big. And the police department's been great. We've had multiple. So there's obviously different layers of phases of how we're handling things. But it was crisis mode on Monday. Tuesday was the lights came on, trying to figure everything out, deport people around the city. They even have fencing blocking these these problem areas. Just please stay away. Crowd control, traffic, people trying to get to work.
Too many all at once.
Yeah, it's like all over the place. And then Wednesday, things got a little better, started to put up fencing. We had the help of the Department of Environmental Police, the state police, regular officers, just traffic department that we had out there. And it just all came together. We got everybody moving yesterday. Everybody wanted to get to work, got to work. And then today school opened and without a hitch. And
we're very lucky for the support that we had for the storm. A lot of officers came in on duty. Some people were forced, unfortunately. The chief was actually on a bereavement day, and he came in as well that
Poor
night.
guy. I remember seeing him. His father-in-law passed away.
was,
Mr. Dakota up there in Ashby or Ashburnham? Ashby?
Yep.
Is it?
A lot of
And-
people stepped up,
Yeah.
and we're very grateful for the fast support.
That's it. Everybody gets together. It's like, no, we got a mission here. This is really important. And let's not wait until after. So I think it was around 7 o'clock, 6:30. No, it was about 7 o'clock we declared a state of emergency saying, all right, don't go out. Just stay home, please. Because people that were riding down by the mall, riding on the road, and you could see the water, and they decided, I can see somebody stuck, so they decided to turn around. Well, there are these little detention basins all over the mall.
And they were completely clogged.
And people fell in them. They were standing on the roofs of cars to try to get out. So I know the 911 that just lit up, the dispatch area just lit up, and there was only so many calls they could take.
We were backed up so many calls. We were just taking one call at a time, doing the best with the officers that we had. And it was all hands on deck. That is not an understatement at all.
And early on. And so as we move into another phase, you know, we're now into that phase of cleanup, and now we've got our arms around the projects, which ones will take longer. We can work on those, but the things that, like tomorrow, we should be able to open up at some point Lancaster Street. We had it completely closed. They were out there working today, saw them. We got one lane open, but they actually were doing traffic there, our guys, and it would stop one side, let them through, and it seemed to be working rather than sending them up Mount Pleasant Ave and all that. So if people have patience, we're in good shape.
Yeah, the trouble areas right now is going to be Mechanic Street at Mount Pleasant Ave. You have an officer there around the clock till further notice. The second location will be Litchfield Street near the National Grid, defense entrance. Somebody will be there until further notice, and also Hamilton Street.
Yeah, the fire station.
Next to Maine's going to be
and
tough.
they're going to work on that next week, so they may have that opened up next week. Well, thank you. We'll have you on again.
It's an honor. Thank you very much for having me.
Congratulations, and we'll be back at it again 24/7. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back and wrap things up here at Inside Leominster. If you'd like to call, ask a question, make a comment, we're right here.
We're here today because UMass Memorial declared today, in defiance of the Department of Public Health's clear ask to delay, to say that we are your licensing authority and we do not think you are prepared to close this unit under the guidelines that already exist in regulation, that they asked them to close it. I am incredibly disappointed in the leadership. We expected that UMass Memorial was actually going to care about our communities and follow the process and engage with the Department of Public Health. They have not done that. We as a delegation have been working for close to 4 months trying to get to the bottom of how did we get here, and the rationale continues to change. First, it was nurse staffing. We figured out that was. Then it was the declining birth rate.
All right, and we're back here inside Leominster to wrap things up with about 11 minutes left in the show. And all right, so here we go. We'll give you a little storm update here, and thank you to Mike and from ServePro and Captain Malatos for coming on. And it was really kind of introduce people to Captain Malatos, but because this is all going, we decided to kind of transition and pivot to. But great job by the school department today. Decided yesterday, and also if you don't know, Friday, again, it'll be a 2-hour delay, but it's really necessary to have that 2-hour delay to get the work traffic to work, and then we can move students. It's a lot easier. And whereas we have so many detours today and road closures, it really was the safest way. But superintendent did a great job, her team, and they had a flawless day. Everything went so smoothly. Everybody cooperated. The sun came out this morning. The birds were chirping. Okay, so we've pumped over 100 and I forget how many basements. And then, as I said, people will come down, and usually the last half inch or so, you get with the shop vac, get it cleaned up, get some fans down there, get a dehumidifier. But then you're left with things, and this is phase one. All right, this is phase one of the cleanup. So On Saturday, we're going to put some dumpsters over there at Doyle Field. This is not for you to start ripping apart your house or anything like that at this point. This is just, those flooring or boxes filled with paper, or books or photos, some sheetrock, lower, some pieces, ceiling tiles fell down, that sort of stuff. Just normal storm debris. No electronics, no appliances, no mattresses, no bulk items, no tires, no propane, so it's not hazardous materials day. It's none of that. It's those soggy boxes that you have, things that have retained water that you want to bring down. So come to Doyle Field, 9 to 1, rain or shine. That's the first piece of this. We'll have other opportunities. Anything like an appliance or some of these other things can be brought to AKS. They will take them for free. And I understand not everybody has somebody that can carry that out and put them in a truck and all of that. But the first part of this is, let's just get the wet things out of there. Whether you had clothes down there, whatever it is, let's get those items that are absorbing water. Let me see the slide. All right, let's go. Do we have slides today? We're ready. All right, because in the slides might be helpful to you. Again, there'll be a concert tonight at Carter Park. Let's do some slides because I want to share with you. All right, there we go. Here's our latest numbers as of this afternoon. 19,859 went and got tested. 2,278 tested positive. 18 deaths. One is too many. 453 new cases in Worcester County. And we're actually down. In 2 weeks, we're down to 18. We're at like 20. There's the weather forecast. Looks like we've got to get through Saturday, and then the weather is good. It actually cools off. The Are You OK program, it's Are You OK Day. It's Gobstopper Day, National Coloring Day, National Cream-Filled Donut Day, National Eat a Hoagie Day, National Live Creative Day, and National School Pictures Day. I'm going to get right to the fact that it's citywide yard sale. We're still going to have it. Despite it all, we're still going to do it. And then the Johnny Appleseed Parade on the 23rd. And then, oh my word, look at that, for like 10 things on. So tonight, this is a makeup concert from this summer when it rained. And tonight's going to be a delightful day, Carter Park. Okay, there you are. There's the slide for Sholan Farms. They're open 10 to 5 every day to make it easy for you. They're in good shape up there, no damage. Apples, as I just show you, are beautiful. Make sure you stop up. All right, Downtown Sounds. That's those local musicians that we try to feature. And they're right down there at next to Rowstone Bank. And they're out there. They'll be out there tonight. Amber Shaves and Pendering is tomorrow night. And James Keys all be out there. They start about 5 o'clock and end about 8 o'clock. You can stop by and listen if you like. We have flooding all over the city. We're aware, and certainly crews are out there. This is just what fire crews from around the county came in to help us out with evacuations, flooding situations, and alarm calls that were coming in. And we thank each and every one of those under the direction of our chief. We thank every single one of them. This is what it looked like, and it still looks like at, this is our emergency management center. And sort of our fusion center. This is what it looks like in there, and it looks like that every day. That's the cooperation we get from all the other departments, whether it be environmental police, MEMA, FEMA, state police, all our organizations here locally. It's quite something to see. That's Mechanic Street. That's why it's closed on one end. The sidewalk is gone. It's just barely hanging in there, and then if you look over to the edge, the whole roadway is gone. That's why it's blocked off. Monoosnock Brook went over its banks. And we were a little bit worried about some of the area up there. So we blocked off a little area, but it's back open 2 ways now. Look at that. Monoosnock and the parking lot became one. Can you believe that? I don't know of anybody that's been around ever who can remember that Monoosnock came up, and it also flooded out downtown. A lot of the businesses were damaged with 4 to 8 feet of water. Some are still closed, some aren't. Here's our governor came out to visit with us and pledged her support. I think, we met with her, and, she sent all her key staff here, all her department heads showed up here, which was very impressive. And many I've known for years, and some of the new folks I met. But the third person to the right is the actual head of the MBTA, and it's just a very knowledgeable person. And the other person to the far right is Barry Lorian, District 3 from MassDOT. But anyway, that's Tilton Cook. You heard us talking about that. That's where the building fell in. The water goes under the building. Well, too much water came, pushed the building in, and then you had a collapse. This is Exchange Street, where there's no road. The bridge washed away, so there's no way for them to get home. We're building a new road that's going to come up behind the high school fields. That will allow us to get equipment in there, and then will allow us some time to rehook the utilities. But fixing this specifically right here is going to take some time, so we have a temporary fix for that. That's what it looks like over the bridge behind Wyman's and Doubletree in that area. That's what it looks like. Just tracks, everything washed out onto Hamilton Street, which we hope to have open soon. There it is, look at it. It's just a mudslide and just nonstop water. Well, we're going to contain that water, put it through some pipes, dry it out, and then move forward. This is what it looks like. It's probably the picture of the country right now. It's been shown on more newspapers and TV stations. And anyway, so we were there today. Fire department moved out some of their personal belongings. Crews are there. They've had to put a temporary gas line in, temporary sewer, temporary water, move the old construction out, rehook up the old construction of the old utilities, which they're doing today. And there we go. School damage has cleaned up. Daily meetings that we have with department heads in other areas. Lancaster Street repairs, just amazing. I think we'll get that open tomorrow. And then Thursday morning briefing at 9 o'clock. I see the sun, I hear the birds. Hope. All right, one last thing I wanted to tell you. If you were flooded, and they've pumped your basement, call our emergency management department, or you could call City Hall, Mayor's office. There is a group that will be coming in starting Saturday. They will help with the cleanup. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to pull all the studs and all the sheetrock and insulation. They're not fully capable to do that, but they're going to come in and help you with another level of cleanup. So if you're not able to do it yourself, need a little help. I only have 1 minute left and I have so much more to say. There is a relief fund. It's the Leominster Mayor's Relief Fund. We do use it for fires and everything. You can afford $5, $10, whatever you can afford. Thank you. It's going to help somebody. We are not that far where we know what the federal government will cover. We are not that far where we know if businesses need assistance. There's obviously the small business assistance, but that's loans and low interest or low interest loans. But we're not at that point now where if you have damage to your house, where we can, at the stage where we can let you file a claim with FEMA. So all that information is coming up. If you need any help, 534-7500 extension 0. And we will walk you through. We have a number of people manning the phones. We will get everybody an answer. If we don't know the answer, we'll get back to you. They'll ask you for your phone number. But it's been quite a few days, it has. So thank you again for your patience and understanding. And I think we're out of time. Are we out of time with a thumbs up? All right, out of time here at Inside Leominster. Good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. We had a lot of people show up. Thank you and good night.
In part through the support of N.P. Crowley Company Incorporated and by DeCarolis Insurance Agency Incorporated, DeCarolisInsuranceAgency.com, and by Enterprise Bank. Enterprise Bank creates success. EnterpriseBanking.com.
This is LTV.